Hi, my name's Stephen Nash. My module presentation 1 is over chapter 5. My focus in this chapter will be over critical thinking and the importance of that. Critical thinking, in a nutshell, and I'll read by definition, is it entails listening with the goal of analyzing or evaluating a message based on information presented verbally and information that can be inferred from context. A critical listener evaluates a message and accepts it, or rejects it, or decides to withhold judgment and seek more information. To me, in a nutshell, that means just listening to a message or a purpose of meaning without just taking it for word or for face value. It means understanding it, processing it, and digesting it and understanding what the meaning or what the point is trying to get across, or the meaning of the message, not just for face value, but if somebody says this is good, but why is it good? What benefit is it? How does it benefit people? How does it benefit individuals? How does it benefit a group? Things along those lines, and just making sure that there's more to it than just what the speaker per se wants it to be construed as. That's the key, is making sure that somebody just saying something is not the reason why you accept it or appreciate it or think it's correct. There's more to it than that. And as a critical thinker, you're going to look into those situations and make sure that just because somebody says it is why it is, you have good questions, not necessarily in a meaning of against their belief, but questioning their belief to make sure it's genuine or fact. So, in my experience, I was a personal trainer at LA Fitness, and when a client came to me, and my way of critically thinking or critically listening to what they were telling me was based on their description of their week, their day, and their life. And so, in my experience, I would have his and her client that would tell me so many things throughout the week, and they wouldn't realize that I was listening and kind of taking notes in the back of my head and understanding that what they were telling me was not what they necessarily wanted to tell me, but I was listening to what they were telling me throughout the week, so that when I said, okay, you train with me 2 times a week, and as you train with me 2 times a week and a couple of weeks down the road, I then say, okay, you've reached this goal. I now need you to train 3 or 4 times a week, and that third or fourth time a week, I need you to train on your own. And then they would come up with these smoke screens, I call them, and that's kind of now that I've kind of talked about the experience of what was going on, now I'll talk about the inference. And then the experience is that they would say, oh, I can't. I don't have time. I can't do that. Well, the inference and the smoke screen that I would call it is now that they are telling me that they can't. And 2 or 3 weeks down the road, or prior, I'm sorry, not down the road, but prior, I would realize that they would say, oh, well, I had a happy hour with this person, or me and my husband went and did this, and all these little bitty quid pro quos, and that they had time for. But now the inference, or as I say, now that I've discussed the experience, I will make some inferences. The inference is that I already know that they have time. They've told me they have time, but they didn't realize they told me they have time. And I say that meaning that if they had time to do those other things, that means they have time to they have the time to take the time to work out 2 or 3 or 4 days a week, but they're deciding not to. So critical listening is that I know they have the time, and I've listened to their past statements, and I know that what they're telling me is false. And that's the inference, is that once I critically listened and listened to everything they were telling me, that when it got to the inference, the smoke screen, I knew that they did. And I had to relay that to them and tell them, well, remember when you were telling me about this, and that? Well, that tells me that you did have the time. So, do you really not, or do you? I think you do. So, the role of the emotions is they got very frustrated. and it drove them nuts. But you have to do it. So now that I've made some interference, I'll discuss how the interference can be transferred. And that's what I meant. I'm sorry, by the transfer is me relaying that message to them saying, hey, I listened to you, but remember when you were telling me that you went to happy hour or that you did this or that with your husband? Well, those times, or that at that time, you could still do it, right? Right. Okay. So realistically, in conclusion to all that, critical listening is about breaking down what people are saying and not always telling them that they're wrong. It's not about being right or wrong. It's helping them understand what they're trying to say and what the point that they're getting across. So when they tell me that they don't have time and I show them that they do, that's the critical listening part of it. So that's the breakdown of what people tell you and how you can use that not necessarily against them, but in their favor to help them.